welcome to the fourth video in my little mini series about going from just surviving in motherhood to thriving. If you haven't already signed up for the other 4 videos, there's a link below this one where you can do that, or just hit the subscribe button so that you get notified when the next video lands tomorrow. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about something really practical, how to have more time as a mum, because I feel like every mum I talk to, that's the number one thing she struggles with, is not having enough time for everything that she wants to do. And it's a big issue. And there are some things that are just mindset related, so it's just getting your head around the fact that things have changed. So if you are feeling like you never have enough time to get everything done in a day, that you're drowning under all the stuff that's expected of you, and that you never have time for yourself, I want you to take a deep breath and just get that nervous system calming down a little bit. And I want you to ask yourself why you're being so hard on yourself. Are you like this with your partner? Do you expect them to be doing more? Are you like this with your best friend? Are you like this with your kids? Or are you only like this with you? Because I think sometimes the difficulty we have in not having enough time is actually to do with our expectations being too big, that we have a list this long when we only have this much time. And it doesn't feel good to have the expectation that you should be able to do that, or even thinking that other people are doing that, because they're not. I'm the first to admit I do a lot and I get a lot done, but I only do that because I'm really clear on what I want to do, and I'm clear on the fact that if I want to get a lot done here in my work, that the washing pile is going to pile up, and that my kitchen is not going to be pristine. I've let them go and I've dropped the expectations about doing it all because I just physically can't. So if you're feeling like you don't have enough time for everything, can I suggest the first thing you do is start dropping some of the expectations, stop being so hard on yourself, and work on getting a little bit clearer about how you actually want to be spending your time. Because I think sometimes the places our time is going is not even the things that are important to us. We just get stuck in these ruts of doing the same thing over and over. So let's have a look at some of the practical things that you can do, because I know practical tips are more helpful than just the mindset stuff, because I know sometimes the practical tips are what you're looking for, but I think it's also important to look at that mindset stuff because it really does start up here. With that being said, the first thing is to have some routines and some systems around the stuff that you hate doing. For me, the big things that I was finding I was really struggling with and always felt like I didn't have enough time for was the laundry, and was meal planning and shopping and cooking and making lunches. You know, my entire role as a mum. But those things, they were just dragging me down. It was like every time I had to do them, I'd feel like, ugh, again. And I'd feel resentful because I was the only one doing them, but yet really I'm the only one who has the time in our family to do them. My husband works full time. I work, but I am at home more than he is. So it is kind of my role to do that. He does help out in other areas, I'll give him that. But those things in particular are my jobs, unfortunately. So I had to make systems around them so that I didn't feel every day like, oh, I have to do it again. So I made a system for the laundry where I've got baskets for every one of us, and as soon as it comes off the line, it goes into the basket for the person. And you know what? Half the time they don't make it to the cupboards, but at least it feels organized and it gets done. It makes me feel like, I've got more time because I'm done in that area and it feels like it's half finished. And as for the shopping and the cooking, I literally had to set myself, you shop on Sundays and you do a top-up shop on Thursdays. So there's always food, and lunchboxes aren't such a chore because then there's always food in the house for lunchboxes. And it's just this kind of habit I've gotten into, and I don't have to think about it so much. And that has really helped free up time because I'm not dashing to the shop 5 times a week, which wastes time. And with the laundry, I'm not up the night before washing a uniform because yet again, we haven't got a clean uniform for the next day. So having some systems around the stuff that you hate doing can really help, because it kind of removes the ick factor and stops you thinking about it for so long and procrastinating on it, and it just makes it feel easier. So my second tip is to do a time budget, or to track your time for a week. So it literally just is ruling up something where you can note down what you do in half an hour or an hour blocks and see where your time is actually going. Because it's really interesting when you look at where your time is going, how much is being sucked into black holes of the internet, how much is spent on things that maybe you don't even see as important and you can actually take back for something else. So I like the pen and paper method, so you can literally write down everything. It can sometimes be a little bit hard when you've got kids, but do your best to try and write down as accurately as you can and keep the time increments small, because often we change tasks so quickly. You can also, of course, get an app like Moments, which will track things like how you're using your phone, so that can be another handy tool to see where your time is going. So then at the end of the week, after tracking what you've been doing in your time for the entire week, have a look at where everything's going. So work out how much time are you spending scrolling on Facebook and Instagram? How much time are you spending picking up stuff around the house? How much time are you spending shopping or whatever it is that you're doing? How much time are you spending working? Are you working out? Whatever it is that you do in your week. And where are the places in your week where you're just kind of faffing around, where you're not really doing anything because you're just kind of like, I don't want to do any of this, so I'm just going to like half-heartedly do everything. You know those times where you kind of wander the house and you spend like 3 hours picking up, but you didn't really just kind of go hard and get it done, which if you did, you probably would have had it done in half an hour. Pro tip, I did this with my kids yesterday. I gave them a basket with their name on it. And I said there was a prize for the person who picked up the most toys. It was the best game ever. And they got that house clean in 5 minutes or less. So you can do similar things with yourself. Take a basket around and just clean it up as you go and do it in an hour. After an hour, you're done. Don't spend any more time cleaning than that, because your life is more important. My final tip is going to be about asking for help and not being afraid to ask for help. And that's about dropping those expectations of being able to do it all yourself. So help could look like a number of things. It could be your partner chipping in more. You might need to write a list of all the things that need to be done in the house and in the yard and in the family, and split them up. Be really brutally honest about what needs to be done. Sometimes they don't even realize half the stuff that we're doing. And make sure you're delegating to your kids as well. They're part of the family. If they're old enough to be helping out, most kids, even from the age of 4, can be helping out with little things around the house as well. Help for you might look like getting a cleaner. Help for you might look like getting a meal service in a couple of times a week so you don't have to cook. Help could be doing a kid swap with your friends, so they look after your kids, you look after theirs, so you get a couple of hours extra each week. It might be hiring a babysitter for a couple of hours a week. So please don't be afraid to ask for help if you're really struggling with managing time and all the things that you want to do. But remember, starting with that expectations first is really going to help. You don't need to be doing everything, certainly not at once. And expecting yourself to do everything is only meaning that you don't enjoy what you're actually doing. So they're my 3 major tips for having more time: having routines and systems about the things that you hate doing, really having a honest look at where all your time is going, and asking for help. You don't have to do it all, which it all really does come back to those expectations. You need to drop some of the expectations around what you can do. You don't need to be doing it all at once. And please know that you are doing a great job. I think sometimes the role of a mum is really thankless and we expect too much of ourselves. I know the other day, Eamon said to me, "Mum, who's the busiest in our family?" And I really had to resist the urge to answer that question for him and just said, "I don't know, Dal, who do you think is the busiest?" And he said, "I think Dad is, because Dad does," and proceeded to list all the things that Dad does. Meanwhile, I was just boiling away with anger over all the things that he doesn't even notice. And then we had a conversation about all the things that I do and all the things that he does. And yes, had to be very calm and in control in this situation and not resentful, because I was talking to a 6-year-old and I should be more mature. And so while our family may not always recognize what we do, because everyone gets caught in their own bubbles, we do as well. We get caught in our own bubbles and we don't recognize what other people in our family do. That process of talking to him about all the things that I do was good for me, because I was like, yeah, I do a lot. And it helped me to drop some of my expectations of that always doing more, because we do enough. And I know you do enough. And even if no one is recognizing it, let yourself recognize it. I see you doing enough. Take a deep breath. Tell yourself I am enough and drop some of those expectations. So that is it for today's video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you catch the next video. Our last video is tomorrow. Can't wait to see you then, and namaste.